This is the last part of the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. We're looking at the romanticism themes of the restorative aspects of nature and the literary devices that Coleridge uses to tell the story, such as the framed narrative and the monologue. Part 7. This hermit good lives in that wood which slopes down to the sea. How loudly his sweet voice he rears! He loves to talk with mariners that come from a far country. He kneels at morn, at noon, and eve. He hath a cushion plump. It is the moss that wholly hides the rotted old oak stump. The skiff boat neared. I heard them talk. Why, this is strange, I trow. Where are those lights, so many and fair, that signal made but now? Strange, by my faith, the hermit said, and they answered not our cheer. The planks look warped, and see those sails, how thin they are and sere. I never saw aught like to them, unless perchance it were brown skeletons of leaves that lag my forest brook along, when the ivy tod is heavy with snow, and the owlet whoops to the wolf below that eats the she-wolf's young. Dear Lord, it hath a fiendish look, the pilot made reply. I am afeard. Push on, said the hermit cheerily. The boat came closer to the ship, but I nor spake nor stirred. The boat came close beneath the ship, and straight a sound was heard. Under the water it rumbled on, still louder and more dread. It reached the ship, it split the bay, the ship went down like lead. Stunned by that loud and dreadful sound which sky and ocean smote, like one that hath been 7 days drowned, my body lay afloat. But swift as dreams myself I found within the pilot's boat. Upon the whirl where the sank ship, upon the whirl where sank the ship, the boat spun round and round, and all was still save that the hill was telling of the sound. I moved my lips, the pilot shrieked, and fell down in a fit. The holy hermit raised his eyes and prayed where he did sit. I took the oars, the pilot's boy, who now doth crazy go, laughed loud and long, and all the while his eyes went to and fro. Ha ha, quoth he, full plain I see, the devil knows how to row. And now, all in my own country, I stood on the firm land. The hermit stepped forth from the boat, and scarcely he could stand. Oh, shrieve me, holy man! The hermit crossed his brow. Say quick, quoth he, I bid thee say, what manner of man art thou? Forthwith this frame of mine was wrenched with a woeful agony, which forced me to begin my tale, and then it left me free. Since then, at uncertain hours, that agony returns, and till my ghastly tale is told, this heart within me burns. I pass like night from land to land, I have strange power of speech. That moment that his face I see, I know the man that must hear me. To him my tale I teach. So, so exciting, but I do need to stop at some point and review. So we're beginning at part 7, but in part 6, I failed to point out that there's the restorative element of the wind and then the light. And those elements combine to bring the people who are coming to find the mariner, the people who are coming into they come to the harbor when the ship comes in to bring him home. And so that's a restorative aspect. And then in part 7, that continues with, he's not alone anymore. There are people like observing the supernatural elements that he has endured and have followed him home, and so it freaks him out. But it puts the mariner in a position where despite what he's been through, he becomes a leader. That the people that have come to rescue him don't know what to think about what is happening, and he is able to take all of that in stride. And with that comes his responsibility to and somehow he knows people who must hear his ghastly tale. And then also when he says, "Until my ghastly tale is told, this heart within me burns." So there is an aspect of passion there that we have not really talked about much at all in the story. Maybe in the very beginning. I think it's present at the very beginning of the frame that the wedding guest doesn't know what it is about this man, but he knows, looking at the mariner, that there is a tale burning within him to be told, and he is willing to put off hanging out with his kinfolk and paying respect to the bride, and it's her day. It's supposed to be her day, and we've got an old sailor telling a ghost story. So, okay, where do we go? All right, I pass like night from land to land. I have strange power of speech. That moment that his face I see, I know the man that must hear me. To him my tale I teach. What loud uproar bursts from that door? The wedding guests are there, but in the garden bower the bride and bridesmaids singing are. And hark the little vesper bell, which biddeth me to prayer. O wedding guest, this soul hath been alone on a wide, wide sea. So lonely 'twas that God himself scarce seemed there to be. O sweeter than the marriage feast, 'tis sweeter far to me to walk together to the kirk with a goodly company. To walk together to the kirk and all together pray, while each to his great Father bends, old men and babes and loving friends and youths and maidens gay. Farewell, farewell, but this I tell to thee, thou wedding guest, he prayeth well who loveth well, both man and bird and beast. He prayeth best who loveth best all things, both great and small, for the dear God who loveth us he made and loveth all. The mariner whose eye is bright, whose beard with age is hoar, is gone, and now the wedding guest turned from the bridegroom's door. He went like one that hath been stunned, and is of sense forlorn, a sadder and a wiser man who rose the morrow morn. So, isn't it amazing how, coming full circle with this story, we see that there is a restorative aspect of storytelling. There is a natural healing that takes place with this story. That we started in the beginning with this frame, and Coleridge goes back and forth so many times it seems it's kind of like, well, just get on with it already, and yet we don't want to get on with it because it's a horror story. And at the very end, the wisdom that he's able to take from his suffering, and there's a word I'm trying to remember. Grace. The grace of the wedding guest to be able to benefit from where the mariner has been, and know that, yes, he missed out on the party a little bit, but for the rest of his life, he will benefit from having had the first person experience of someone telling their story of how they overcame the the suffering. And I mean, it was brought on by himself, but not everything that he witnessed was, I mean, the that he wasn't responsible personally for killing every crew member on the ship, that he was responsible for killing a senseless act of violence, killing the bird, and how it it emphasizes the importance of just simple things, and it emphasizes the importance of nature, and that God does not want us to take anything for granted, or risk losing it all. So I'm really happy about the way that this critical analysis took place from beginning to end. I did not really know I was how my analysis was gonna take shape fully, because I've never done this before. And I'm sure there's a lot of mistakes, but maybe we'll do this again after the format has been when I'm more comfortable. So thank y'all very much for listening, and I hope that you've taken something from my analysis.